Joe Budden asks Joy Taylor, is Draya manipulating Jalen Green?
Check.
I got a question. Maybe you can help me out with me, Father. Is Draya manipulating Jalen Green, or is Jalen Green manipulating Draya?
That was a screeching halt transition. But I appreciate it.
Too much sports talk for me.
Yeah. Well, this is sports adjacent, so it's.
Oh, yeah.
Don't answer the question.
I like it. I like getting adjacent.
Oh, come on, Joe.
This is what I really needed you here for.
How old is he? He's 23. I mean, listen.
As you can see, she's stalling on this question. She's trying to decipher the consequences of serving some coffee, telling the truth. That's what she's doing. She's like, well, if I say no, that means that we can't say that men who date younger women are manipulating them. What the hell am I going to do?
And I have no interest, despite their interest in me, in a young man of that age group.
Joy.
What?
I thought I have a clip of you saying
No, I said 25 years old. That's a big difference.
It's not that big of a difference.
It's a massive difference. Massive difference.
Away,
Joy, what the hell?
No, it's not.
This lady's
That's
25 and 21?
No, 23.
When she got with him when he was 21.
Thank you.
No, that's semantics. Got with him when he was
25. No, that's important.
You
It's a
saving her?
story.
No,
Like,
I'm
the
just
facts.
saying, nigga, like,
Don't save her when
The
you...
facts
Don't
matter.
say it. We don't want you to say it, boy.
All right, let's hear it.
I appreciate your support.
I'm not even.
He's so supportive. Pink lips over here. Shut up.
The facts matter. Look, at some point, you're an adult.
Right.
Like at some point you're an adult. I've dated men who are 20 years older than me. I had no business dating them and they had no business dating me. But I was an adult. And like
Did you do that at 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They had no business dating you.
Correct. They did not. And now being 38 years old, I can look back and be like, no, they shouldn't.
Isn't it funny that all the chicks who tell people, don't you date younger, they tell men, let's be specific here, they tell men, don't you date younger women, they gave it up at 20 years old, 19 years old to some 40-year-old. Isn't it funny how that plays out like that? And then she goes on to say, hey, I don't mess with that age demographic. I said the youngest I'll go is 25. And she's right. She did say that in this video. I remember actually hearing this in this video I released of her.
Like, I say this tenderly because I'm 38 years old.
Damn.
Oh, yeah. Like, I've been working for 20 years. I'm a professional adult.
So we can cut off a lot of dudes if you dating, you're not dating, whatever. But like Future, what's the age limit?
Age limit?
As far as youth to older. What's the youngest to the oldest? Like, what's your range?
Damn, I'm telling myself right now. I would say right now, at my age right now. Yeah, I would not date younger than 25, 26.
All right. She said 25. If you really, if you're going to be honest, 25 years old, a 25-year-old and a 23-year-old are in the same age group. They're in the same age group. There's no other way to look at this. They're in the same age group. You are Draya Michelle, from what it sounds like. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? And I'm not saying she's necessarily wrong, but I am saying if the roles were reversed, they would definitely call men wrong.
If you had a 20-year-old daughter and
but that was fun.
I'm just saying, if you had a 20-year-old daughter and some 42-year-old nigga was trying.
I mean, I understand why they were dating me. I should not have been dating them. Like, that makes sense. I made sense.
There you go.
He didn't make sense. If I had a what?
A 20-year-old daughter, some 42-year-old nigga, I'm going to assume they had a certain level of financial stability. No, I'm not even trying to.
Get her.
Right? They had some certain level of financial stability.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You would never let them date your 20-year-old daughter, right?
I don't have children, so I try to not, you know.
She heard that first controversial answer she was about to say.
No, because I don't think that I do believe this. Like, I don't want to blur the line for grooming and for inappropriate relationships. Like, there is a real thing where people are dating children. And like, that needs to be clear. And there is a point where you are a child and then you are no longer a child. You are a young person, but you're no longer a child. And like, those people need to be held accountable. So I don't want to like make it so muddy that it's like this person's doing something illegal or like immoral. Like these are adults.
But the difference in legality is only 1 day. So you 17 and 18, the only difference is a day, and one is legal and one is not. So it's like,
I wouldn't recommend that you do it.
True.
Right? I'm not going to do it.
Got you.
But he's also not 18. He's 21. Like, is it 21? Is it 23? Mm-hmm. Is it 25? Is it 27? What is the number?
You know, she's saying she doesn't want to blur the lines of legality when that's exactly what it sounds like she's doing right now. She's blurring the lines of legality. If you actually thought that this was okay, you would say there's nothing wrong with a 40-year-old dating a 23-year-old, which I believe that's how old Jalen Green is. And while that's not illegal, what we actually can all agree on is she is a gold digger who's obviously looking for an opportunity at the end of the day. This man is going to learn a very bitter lesson soon.
Like there is a number that we have as a society decided. People are going to cook me for this, but we need to protect children.
I agree.
And like he's a young person, but he's not a child.
What's the number? I love how she's like, there is a number, but I'm not going to say it because she knows those are going to be headlines. Joy Taylor says 18-year-olds can get the cheeks.
So is he a child? You think he's a child?
No.
She gets a pass.
I mean, again, from a legal standpoint, absolutely not. But from a moral standpoint, and that's why I asked you directly, if somebody was dating your 20-year-old daughter, some 42-year-old man that had some money, some influence, some power, whatever the case may be, was dating your kid. Because you look at your 21-year-old son as, that's my baby. And some 40-something-year-old
lady. My nieces
lady.
and nephews are my children.
Cool.
I birthed them.
Right? And so if the shoes were on their feet, I think you have a different response. And that response could be emotional as opposed to logical. Because if it's not our kid, we might look at it in a logical way. But I just think that is...
What if he owns like an F1 team? And
I wouldn't give a... Yeah. F1 stand for what? When it comes to your 20-year-old baby.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
that was slick.
exactly. I'm good.
I mean, what if they get married and they have children and they have a life together then?
It happens. I think that...
Then I got to break it up.
I think those circumstances... I think those circumstances still apply. I think if they get married and have children, you are marrying into a situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I've thought about this a lot, and I'm probably being very clunky, but I do think that sometimes these conversations take away from like real predators. You know,
if it was the other way around, if it was like you said, you just said that when you were 20 years old, the 42-year-old man shouldn't have been dating you. Mm-hmm. But now when you're saying about this young lady, wasn't it Draya and whatever?
Well, he wasn't taking advantage of me.
Yeah, but you it's kind of double talking.
Well, you
I don't feel like I was taken advantage of.
Yeah.
You do kind of have to give Joy props here for not trying to paint that situation like she was being taken advantage of, right? Because so many women do this thing where they'll look back in the past and be like, you know what? Yeah, I changed my mind. I was taken advantage of. And it's just ridiculous. So I'm actually surprised by that.
No,
I feel like he shouldn't have been dating me because I see a man like that now. Like, oh, he was dating me because I was fun, because I wasn't a big commitment, because we would just go, have fun together. Like it wasn't, I didn't want kids, like I get why he was doing that.
Too, though. Not just that. He's dating because
you're naive.
Yeah, I was trying to find a nice way to say it. I can get the bullshit off on her because you don't know no better.
At 30.
But not every 20. Not every 20.
That's the point that I be making about the 20-year-old.
But not.
You guys can't see it. But when they said that you were 20 and you didn't know any better, she kind of gave this look of like, I was gamed up enough to know what was going on. Like you couldn't get over on me.
She was a sniper. You a fast 20-year-old. Hey.
Did they though? There were things that I benefited from for sure. Like, it was an exchange. I don't know if that was. Don't down me up.
Yeah, no more that.
And she just dapped up one of the guys talking about how she was getting ran through by 40-year-olds and getting what she wanted out of it. Sounds like Joy Taylor's been doing this for a while, if you know what I mean.
This conversation, I just went for it, but it was like a default. Don't worry, erase that, cut that. What did you say that you?
Mel,
No, I was going to say that not every 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old is naive. Sometimes, you guys just basically said what I was going to say. Sometimes they are snipers. Case in point, Bill Belichick's girlfriend. She does not seem to be
not a naive person.
Not even a little bit.
Nope.
This seems to be her track record.
She's also not 23, right?
She's 24 years old, but when they got together, we're just arguing.
She's been off the porch earlier than most.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not her first.
One of Ivy League 24.
No, she's just not. But that'll still take away her naivete.
No, I mean, you don't know what you don't know, but
until you know it.
Until you know it, for sure. There's shit I know now that I certainly didn't know when I was 20, 21, 22, whatever. There's shit I know now I didn't know yesterday. But there are levels to everything. Like, there are 21-year-olds who have been to war.
True.
And there are 21-year-olds who still live in their parents' home. Like, your age is important because you haven't had a lot of life experience in the time, but that doesn't mean that you haven't experienced a lot of things in life. True. And so I'm want to be clear. I'm not like advocating for this, but we're just having the conversation. Bill Belichick's girlfriend is a great example. People feel some type of way about that. And Bill Belichick is in his 70s. He is not 40 years old. I'm almost 40. I'm 38 years old. Bill Belichick is like almost twice my age. And she is 23 or 24, right? They met when she was 21. Like, and people are upset about that.
And that's not her first
way older boyfriend. Her
way
boyfriend
richer.
Before.
Her other dude was richer than he is.
I don't know if boyfriend is even the appropriate term when we're talking about
man-friend.
Grandfriend.
Yeah, that Bill Belichick situation is kind of sad. I don't know if you guys have actually heard about that. I might cover that. One thing that's definitely obvious after listening to this conversation is it sounds like Joy is more on the position of, I don't think we should blur these lines, which a lot of people like to do today, especially to shame men of what's considered illegal, especially when you have women like Draya who are out here doing the same thing that men would get called predators for. Now, is this young man dumb, and does he not see a gold digger who most likely will ruin his life in the future? Yes, you can definitely justify that stance. As always, we're going to check out some of these comments, see what the people have to say. Top comment here reads, she tap dancing around the question. Here's somebody else who says, been in sports media quite some time. Here's somebody else who says, I mean, why would she answer straight up on TV at that? Here's somebody else who says, they're asking the wrong person. She would whatever. Here's somebody else who says, or is it none of your business? Here's somebody else who added, never knew Joy Taylor could dance so well. This chick here says, this is probably the worst answer to a question. Can you be clear? Is Draya manipulating him? Yes, damn, she says. Is a come up. Is he a come up? Yes. Is she manipulating him? Maybe. Does he want to be manipulated? Most likely. I remember the first time I realized it. And by the way, guys, most of my life, I've dated women who are at least a year or so older than me, right? Very, very rarely do I remember back when I was dating a chick that was actually younger than me. But I remember the day I walked into a club after not going into a club. I know you guys have been through this. If you're in your 30s, you've probably had this experience, right? You walk into the club and you get there and you look around and you see a bunch of kids. Have you guys gone through that before? Where you walk into a club and that's the moment you realize, like, wow, these look like kids, right? They're in their early 20s, but you can definitely see the difference. And to me, that's the day I was like, nah, I can't. There's just certain places I can't go where there are younger people there. Now, that's a preference. I don't look at somebody else who's like, yeah, I don't mind dating a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old and they're 30. I don't look at them and necessarily say they're a predator at all. I don't. Why? Because the moment that girl opens an OnlyFans account, the chicks will be there cheering her on, and they'll take that man's money willingly. So it's like, why should you be able to show your butthole online and get praised by degenerate society, but you can't date somebody and have a healthy relationship? I don't know. Something about those dynamics just seem kind of messed up to me. As always, guys, curious to know what you think. To my currently engaged men or soon-to-be married men, If you need a prenuptial agreement but don't know where to start, don't forget, head over to fathershaverights.com. This guide helps you get ready, teaches you how to get a prenup before you hire your attorney. One of the most amazing things about this guide is that it actually walks you through knowing how to choose the right attorney for you. It's one of the first things you learn. Guys, till next time, I'm out. Peace.